Calgarians are saying goodbye to this place. Eau Claire Market is a locale that's been described many ways. A dying mall, a glorified food court, and a place that many will be sad to see go. A goodbye party filled the place with people for the first time in, well, a long time.
It'll feel a little bit weird when it's gone. It's just been so iconic. Yeah, like a little hole in your heart.
I love that so many people came here today for this, but at the same time, how do you not be negative? The place is dead. It's been dying for years.
But you still wanted to say goodbye.
I do want to say goodbye because we've been coming here since she's been a baby. So for the last 10 years, we've been coming down here.
The market is slated for demolition beginning this summer. Eventually, this will be a future Green Line LRT station. But until then, there's still a little life left in this place. And I wanted to come here with my old school camera from the 80s and take some film pictures. I thought I was being really original with this idea, but I was far from the only person here doing that.
So this is a Panasonic Omni movie from 1989. It has beautiful colors and just came out at the time of around the time that the mall was established. So.
Why did you bring that here?
So a lot of my friends, very talented photographers, were out here shooting the mall, and I really wanted to come and do something as well. When I hear people telling me stories about this place and what it means to them, it's growing in my imagination in terms of its importance. This is going to sound silly, but I think that if you focus on anything long enough, it becomes fascinating, and I think this is one of those opportunities.
Is there anything that you're already seeing that's fascinating you about it?
I mean, the light is beautiful. The light is really beautiful. It's a skylit building, and it looks quite beautiful. But I think the most fascinating thing for me, and this is just something that threads through my work, is the kind of urban decay, the deterioration of a space, and kind of beautiful ugliness.
So this is how Eau Claire ended up. But was it always this dead and dying place? Every year, CBC's Jason Markusoff gives a walking tour. He calls it the Calgary that could have been. And no tour like that is complete without a stop at Eau Claire Market. This is where he covers all the history.
And this is the last time I'll be able to make fun of it behind its back, so it'll be gone next year.
The economy was a bust in Calgary. They wanted to revitalize downtown. A lot of the projects for towers had failed. So they had this concept that was working in many other cities called the Festival Market.
What is that?
That is this idea of taking an old building in your dilapidated or struggling downtown and retrofitting it to have a farmer's market, retail shops, boutiques, and of course Granville Island was the big one by the waterfront. In this case, we also had bus barns right down here in prime riverfront real estate, and they thought, we can have Granville Island. The mayor was on board, everybody's excited about this.
But there were still those who believed the bus barns could be useful.
And then reality happened.
The old sheds were to be knocked down.
Huge budget overruns. The ownership kept on flipping to different financial backers, and probably the biggest tragedy was that they actually had to tear down the bus barns.
The market opened in 1993.
I mean, there was all this enthusiasm at the start. You had indoor buskers, you had fruit stalls, fish vendor, bookstore, movie theaters, but not just movie theaters, IMAX.
IMAX!
Big deal in the early 90s, IMAX. But, you know, if people came once, they probably didn't come again. They may have brought their family from out of town, but they weren't coming back here again. Within a year, you started seeing articles saying, is this really working?
The year is now 2004, the market under new ownership. The newspaper quotes shop owners who love the location and potential, but they're staring at the same old teal paint from day one. One shop owner says her sales peaked in 97 and 98 and dropped by 50%. The story really is retail darling of Calgary, a damsel in distress. Only 2 years later, the talk about a fresh coat of paint turns into tearing down Eau Claire and starting from scratch.
Tuesday morning, and there's not much activity here at Eau Claire Market. Harvard Development is hoping to change all that. It hopes to revitalize the market through redevelopment.
To have a world-class mixed-use urban village, and that is going to be a mix of residential, office, entertainment, fashion, home improvement, and hopefully a hotel.
It's been through a number of Calgary economic cycles. The centre was struggling a little bit when we purchased it, and we had a vision always to redevelop the mall in a way that would reinvigorate this portion of the downtown.
So for most of its life, Eau Claire Market's just really existed.
In a limbo.
Yeah.
I think to your 2 points, because the developer had given up on this and was looking to demolish it, its fate was sealed a while ago.
That's where Jason ends the history and opens up for a chance to discuss. We passed around a microphone to talk about why. Why did this market or mall or whatever it was supposed to be fail? People had some thoughts.
I would say a big problem is they never got people here. You had to move from a very dense urban market into a farmer's market idea, and the two didn't really jive together because you couldn't get people here.
And we did eventually develop a successful farmer's market in the city, which has now sprouted, a few offspring. But what's the difference? They've all got parking around them. And that's Calgary. Much as we'd love to be this sort of very focused urban city with great transit, and not that we don't have great transit, we actually do, and well utilized. But still, the big parking lot around it is what makes the difference.
I work down here, and people aren't coming this way. They're always going that way for lunch because you can't get here, without having to go outside.
I'm just saying it did work for some of us coming from suburbia because we could park underground, we could eat at Cajun Charlie's, and we can go to a movie. There was the film festivals. It was spectacular, and it really did bring in people. I was so disappointed that they didn't keep it going. They needed to support it more. All of us needed to support it more.
I mean, there's surface lots galore out there.
Paid ones, yeah.
Okay, fair. And then there's people walking and running and biking on the pathways. So can they really not all find themselves here? Is that the big issue here?
I mean, that's part of it, but let me just show you a couple things outside.
I love adventures.
8th Ave, Stephen Avenue, where all the other nightlife is 6 blocks away. That's a pretty big hike in downtown terms. And the LRT is down there. There's no real transit coming right here. So that's a problem. The other problem was that all these towers, these condo towers and office towers around here, they didn't really exist. This was a bit of an island, a destination. And in the early 90s, people didn't feel safe here.
The city is growing. The crime is growing.
Calgary police officers like Jerry Baxter are having trouble believing their own statistics. After years of minor increases in crime, Calgary got hit by a crime wave in 1991.
And then the other thing that was uninviting was, look at this big wall. A little door here, a little door around the corner, but just basically the back end of Eau Claire Market facing the downtown. It's not nice. Now we're on the other side of Eau Claire Market, and here they did build this pretty cool, like for the 90s, plaza space, closer to the river and the pathways, but here's the problem. They built these condos right here, totally cutting off Eau Claire Market from the river and the pathways.
So Jason is describing this perfect storm of issues, and finally the discussion turns to more than just an urban planning conundrum. The idea, a downtown market, was a copy-paste concept.
Speaking as someone from Vancouver who loves Granville Island with all my heart, I think it was kind of doomed from the start, because the joy of Granville Island is they really planned it around what the community's values were. If you're kind of just trying to pick something up from another city where they've done a lot of intentional community planning and just plop it down wherever, it's probably going to fail.
Feels like it speaks to the problem that 30 years in, it's hard to identify who was supposed to come here.
So hopefully the city has learned from what went wrong with Eau Claire Market, and there'll be something new here.
Not just something new. I mean, this is going to be a transit hub. This is where the LRT will stop. It'll be a station on the Green Line. The only thing is we're going to lose this building and get some sort of other development.
Something new, something probably less concrete, less teal, with whatever 20s version of IMAX there is.